Hey Canucks fans, it's a Canucks game day, believe it or not, and it's also time for another edition of Ask Me Anything. I'm Canuck Clay, I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club. This is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Sunday, September the 26th. If you're new, this is what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. And as always, this vlog is brought to you by Perform and Transform, personal training and weight loss. Sign up for a free 7-day trial using the link in my video description. Okay, at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about my plans for the games this year. So stick to or you can either skip all these answers and skip to the end, or better yet, watch this whole video and then make sure you stay until the very end. And a lot of great questions, over a dozen, and I've kind of grouped them today, so it's not so much popcorn style. It's actually, there's some rhyme and reason to the way I've grouped the questions. So let's get going right away. And once again, thanks for submitting. Lucas Gates, would you ever be open to collab videos with your YouTube members who contribute? Lucas, certainly be open to it. It's got to make sense to me, though. I don't want to do it just for the sake of doing it. But yes, that is something that I would be open, at least open to considering for sure. But I'd want it to be of decent quality, of course. And there's got to be a point to it aside from simply bringing people on. However, there's a lot of creative ways that we can do that for sure. Crispy Assassin, are you worried about Pettersson and Hughes not signed? Am I worried? Truly, I'm not worried. I wish, I'd rather they be signed than not and going through playing in the preseason games, but these things will take care of themselves. They're too good to not play this season. I don't want them to miss any regular season. So I'd say I'm concerned, but I'm not worried, if that makes sense. And that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. It will get done. It's just a matter of when. That dude, if you're Pettersson, do you take the same contract as Kaprizov, or do you value yourself higher? That dude, that's a really good question, because I don't think that the comparables are perfect. Pettersson's a center and he's younger. Kaprizov's winger and he's older, obviously. With Kaprizov, the 5-year contract bought 2 UFA years, meaning it costs Minnesota a bit more money to do that, I think. So that's the trick, right? Is you can't simply say PD's worth 9, because when you say is PD's worth 9, then the next question is, well, what type of term are we talking about? PD's not worth 9 for a 3-year bridge deal, right? I expect that to be around 7.5 or so. But PD's worth 9 if you go, I guess, 5, at least 6 years, maybe he's worth 9, because that would be the equivalent, right? PD has 4 more years to UFA. So buying 2 PD UFA years would be a 6-year contract. But then you're thinking, but Clay, you just said he's a center and he's younger, so maybe he is worth that on only $5 million, a 5-year contract. So all to say, if you're Pettersson, do you take the same contract as Kaprizov? No. If I was Pettersson, and it was 5 years at 9, yeah, maybe I would, because it's only 1 year of UFA, but you're a center and you're younger. However, I don't think the Canucks do that, because you're walking basically to UFA. You get them for 1 year. You got to go either 3 years or 7 or 8 years. And I think you avoid 4 or 5 years, quite frankly. I lie. Similar. If the Canucks end up unable to sign both Pettersson and Hughes, who would you re-sign, and what would be a trade for the unsigned players' rights that you would be open to making? Well, I wouldn't want to trade either of these guys. I lie. At the end of last season, at the end of 2 seasons ago, I would have said Hughes would be the guy I'd keep. If I had to absolutely pick one, I'd keep Hughes over Pettersson. But now that I think about it more, I think Pettersson is still the more valuable player. Even though Hughes is great, we've never had a defenseman like him. I think that I would keep Hughes. I'd keep Pettersson over Hughes if I knew that I could only sign one. I hate to think about this. What would be a trade for the unsigned players' rights? Well, for someone like Hughes, you'd want a first rounder and a roster player for sure. You're not just gonna go first rounder for first rounder, considering he was a Calder Trophy runner up. So I think you're starting with a first rounder and a roster player, a legitimate roster player too. Rome, will you be doing another series of collab videos to preview this upcoming season like last season? That was a lot of fun. Thanks, Clay. Yes, Rome. I've spoken to 3 of the 4 people already, Kim, John, and Nick, and they've all said yes to doing collabs for division previews, which is kind of cool. And then I haven't talked to Nathan yet. So, but yes, I will do those for sure. I think it's great to bring in not only my predictions, but bring in someone else's predictions as well. Calbro, hi Clay. If Rathbone stays with the big club, where does Juolevi fit in? Average performance in training camp probably has him on the outside. Would he get picked up on waivers if sent down to Abbotsford? Would be bad if we give him up for nothing. Yes, Calbro, it would be bad if we give him up for nothing, but I don't think we can worry about that at this point. He's drafted 5 years ago, and he still hasn't made much of an impact. So I think Rathbone makes the team over Juolevi. If Hughes doesn't start the season, then you could have Ekman-Larsson, Rathbone, and Hunt all starting on the left side. I think you try and get Juolevi down to Abbotsford, and I do not think he gets picked up on waivers. He just hasn't shown anything to be warranted to be picked up. And then Charlie says, do you think this will be Juolevi's last year as a Canuck? Possibly. He's only on a 1-year contract, and he'll still be a restricted free agent. But I could see the Canucks walking away from him at the end of this season, especially if Rathbone is good. Chris Seifried, after the bag skate on OEL, what do you see differently today in person? And do you honestly think he could bounce back here, or could it possibly be him saying the right things? Chris, I'm high on Ekman-Larsson. I really am. And when I watched him in person on Saturday at the training camp, I thought he was fine. He's bigger than I thought. He skated well. That bag skate, you got to put it in context. That was the last bag skate of a series of 4. And so I don't, and the young people have more, the young guys have more to show, more to prove than the veterans, as I mentioned in my video yesterday. So no, I don't put any stock into that bag skate video. And I'm fully confident that he's going to do well and have a bounce back season here. He seems motivated, and I think he's too good of a player not to. David, what would our top 2 D be if Hughes and Hamonic remain unavailable for game 1? It'll be Ekman-Larsson on the left and Pullman on the right. So 2 newcomers. They skated together all 3 days of training camp, and I saw them yesterday, and they look fine together. So it will even if Hughes and Hamonic come back, you could argue that Ekman-Larsson and Pullman will be your number 1 pairing. Hughes and Hamonic are number 2, and then Myers will be on the right, and then likely one of Juolevi or Hunt. One of Rathbone or Hunt on the left. If Hughes and Hamonic both are away, then I would go Ekman-Larsson, Pullman. I would go Rathbone, Myers, and then I would go Hunt and Shen as a very valuable, very experienced and solid third pairing. Shando, if you were Jim Benning, what would your priorities have been during the offseason? Because me thinks they would be a bit different than signing Pullman and re-upping Pearson. Yeah, if we're talking about I like the moves up to then. I like buying out, I like Nate Schmidt, but I like trading him. I like buying out Hope and Virtanen. It's easy to say that they shouldn't have signed Pearson until they had Pettersson and Hughes done. But a part of me thinks that Pettersson and Hughes knew that these were going to go long anyways. Hughes wanted to see what Makar, Heiskanen, and Dahlin got. Pettersson probably wanted to just see what other thing was going to happen with Kachuk and Kaprizov and so on and so forth. So even if we sit here and say my priorities would have been to re-sign Pettersson and Hughes, maybe this is the way that it was going to go all along. That's kind of my gut feeling. Brett, with another cap space squeeze after next season with Besser's new contract, is inevitable that Miller will get traded after this year. No, I don't think so. I've seen some forecasts by Harman Dial of The Athletic where we can still re-sign Miller and Horvat. It'll be tight, but we can still do it. And you never know what's going to happen with other players prior to then. You can have young guys like Klimovich and Lockwood coming up on the ELC. So I think there's going to be room. Luongo's cap recapture penalty comes off the books. But I do think Miller could be trade bait at the end of next season, especially if the Canucks aren't playing well and they have to move salary. But let's worry about that when we get to it. Karan says, where do you see Klimovich in 3 years? And do you think Travis would even consider giving him a chance this year? So in 3 years, Klimovich will be on this team. I saw him yesterday. I was very impressed. People say he had a very violent shot. Yes, it's very violent. It's pretty scary, actually. A great wrist shot. Wonderful release. So he'll be on the team in 3 years. Do I think he's on the team this year? No, but I think the question is, does he have to go back to the queue, or might he or in a spot in Abbotsford and be potentially a call-up? And I could see that happening. He looked good. Derek, hi Clay. A Canucks COVID question. Are the Canucks planning to fill their rink to capacity, or will be like the Leafs with 50% capacity? I did a video on this actually, and when the season starts, 30 of the 32 teams will be at full capacity, some with vaccine passport, mask, and or negative test protocol. But only 2 teams are not going to be at full capacity. The Canucks are one of them. They'll be at 50% capacity at the start of the season, and Montreal Bell Center will only be at a third capacity. NZ, hey Clay, score prediction for tonight, and who scores the first goal, and are you streaming it? So no, I'm not streaming it because I'll be at church. Who scores the first goal? Let's go with Brock Besser, and score prediction. It's just preseason game. I say Seattle wins in their first game. Everyone gets them excited. 4-3. Travis Green and Clay, do you think Jim Benning should get fired if Pettersson and Hughes don't get signed before game 1 of the regular season? I think he does. No, I don't think he'll get fired because if it's day 2 of the regular season and they're really good contracts and the team does well, I think he's fine. I think more so than the Pettersson and Hughes contracts, if the team doesn't do well by Christmas, I think he could be in trouble. And lastly, Teresita says, I have 2 questions. Okay, I'm going to allow it just once. Usually I only answer one, but the first one's really quick. As an NHL fan, would you rather see Team Canada win a gold medal or your favorite team winning the cup? Absolutely, my favorite team winning the cup. I would rather see the Canucks win the Stanley Cup over Team Canada winning the gold medal. And you ask any player, they play for a Stanley Cup as opposed to gold medal, although a gold medal is cool as well. And then she kind of goes on about the 7 Canadian teams and wants me to comment on each. The Leafs, great team on paper, can't do anything come playoff time, pressure immense. Those statements are true so far. They look awesome on paper, especially their forwards. And if they get good goaltending, they should be fine. But yeah, the playoff skeletons are definitely piling up in their closet. Flames, pressure to return to the playoffs, opportunity in Pacific Division to do so, if not huge disappointment. Yeah, there's almost as much pressure on Calgary as there is on Toronto, but Calgary's got a good team, but I think there's some chemistry issues there. Oilers, more of the same, expect team, not considered true contender, but pressure because of McDavid and Draisaitl in the primes. Yeah, they've done a lot of work. They've improved on their forwards, and they've gotten worse on their D. Jets, fair amount of pressure considering solid team, although the fact they have at least one playoff series didn't put them as high. So we're talking about pressure here. Yeah, there's probably less pressure in Winnipeg, but there's still high expectations. They got a really good forward group and one of the best goaltenders in the league. Habs, although they just made the finals, many are not expecting them to even make the playoffs this year. And if they were to miss, don't think it would come as a huge disappointment because of that tough Atlantic division. Yes, it's a very tough division. They're faced with some injuries right off the bat, so I don't expect them to come anywhere close to what they did last year. Sens, no pressure at all. Not expect to make the playoffs, but continue to improve. I agree. And the Canucks, expectation is to make the playoffs, not ready to be a true contender, but they miss. Also wouldn't consider a huge shock. Yeah, I've seen them predicted to not make the playoffs. I think they can still fight for as high as third in the division, second or third, if things go well. So I think there's a lot of pressure here in Vancouver as well, giving Benning's tenure and Travis Green re-signed to a 2-year contract, Pettersson and Hughes, and the fact that they were such a bad team last year. All right, Canucks fans, those were awesome questions. Thank you. Leave a comment below with your reaction to any of those questions. Also, leave a comment below if you saw the TikTok that I made with my daughter, Kayla. I didn't even know that it was like National or International Daughters Day. I just wanted to have some fun with her, and I'm probably never going to do that again. Now, when it comes to the games, when the regular season starts, yeah, I'll be doing previews as part of my regular vlogs. Actually, I'll probably be doing that during the preseason as well, but today happened to fall on an Ask Me Anything video. I think what I'm going to try going forward, starting tonight, is right after the game, I'm going to do a YouTube short, do a quick 1-minute video, what I liked, what I didn't like, one other thing, very quick, and then kind of tease what my full game recap will look like that I'll post just shortly afterwards. So that's, I think, what I'm going to do after each game is a quick YouTube short, so 1-minute video, and then an extended game recap afterwards. And then the next morning, less of a game recap and more of some thoughts after I kind of slept on things and whatever it may be. And then in the regular season, I likely going to add a quick game preview of what minutes or so as a YouTube short as well, simply stating what the lines are going to be according to the line rushes. So I think people are really interested in that. So there we go, Canucks fans. That's what I'm thinking for today. For today, I'll be at church from 6 to 7:30, so I'll only catch the third period, but hopefully I'll be reading and catching up enough where I can do something actually meaningful for my post game. And then tonight, 10 p.m. Hope you join me for my live stream, as always, right here on YouTube. So thanks again, everyone. I appreciate you. Shout out to my hero members, nucksfan number 29, Justin Credible, Lucas Gates, and Andrew Chang, and to my Hall of Fame members, Jens95, simalexander, Chris Seifried, Adam Brewfield, and Shannon Hollingworth. Thanks for your support as always, and thanks to the support of all members of all levels. You are listed in my video descriptions. If you want to become a member of the CCC Crew, press the join button underneath this or in my videos, or in the memberships tab on my YouTube channel. Subscribe if you'd like to, like this video if you'd like to, leave a comment if you'd like to, become a member if you'd like to. Don't forget, tonight, Canucks in Seattle, first ever game for Seattle Kraken. If you're a Shaw subscriber, Center Ice is doing a free preview so you can watch the game on Shaw tonight. And yeah, I'll check in with a quick YouTube short after the game, right after the game, and then a more extended recap, and then my live stream tonight at 10. So lots to look forward to, and I hope that you'll be able to check some of those videos out a little bit later. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. Have a great day. God bless, and go Canucks go.